Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, a very warm welcome to you too. I'm down at Stonor Park today for the MX-5 Owners Club National Rally, and as you can see behind me, there's over 1,000 MX-5s here with us. There's loads coming up in this video. We've got interviews with Keith Tanner of Flying Miata, we've got Danny Hopkins of Practical Classics, we've got Garage of Luke, we've even got an exclusive reveal. Mazda are here with the new 6E. We're going to be taking the covers off that. There's so much for you to see in this video, but we're starting, as always, with the entry montage. Let's see ya. So that's the entries. Hopefully your car made it in there. If it didn't, I'm really sorry, but I'm about to go and have a look around and choose some of my favourite cars from the car park. Before I do, I want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, which is Cherished Vehicle Insurance Services. Now, I'm not going to wax lyrical with these guys. I'm not about to say they're the best insurance company out there ever, but what I will say is to take the time to get to know you and your car. And should you ever need to call on insurance, I really hope you don't, but should you ever need to, it's really what you want, someone who's got your interest in the heart and not just looking at the numbers on the screen. The link's in the description below. Give them a try. They might offer you better cover, they might offer you a cheaper price. Either way, support them as they are supporting me in making this video. Now, let's have a look around at some of the cars in the car park. So my first stop is here, because this is the car that I've brought. It is one of BBR's MX-5s, an NC, but it's not got a supercharger. This one has got throttle bodies, and if you watched the video from Simply Japanese last year, it is the same car that I took down there, but they've worked on those throttle bodies and it's now running better than ever. There's a full video of this car coming up to YouTube very soon, so hit that subscribe button to see it. This won't be to everyone's taste, but I'm glad it's here, because it just goes to show You don't have to have absolutely pristine and perfect. If your car's on the road and it's legal, get it out there. Best way to keep them on the road is to use them. These two caught my eye because they're very, very similar, but also there's a few subtle differences between them, and they just look so good next to each other. I really like the ND, and I really like this edition, especially with those wheels. That just looks right. One thing better than one of these, and that's two of them. Look at that. I really hope they came together. If they didn't and they get back, one of them's in for a surprise. I just spotted that sticker. I remember that. I was part of that. That was a wicked day out, and rumour has it we're going to try and do it again. There you go. Look at this. G-Reg Mark 1. That's going to be one of the earliest ones here, I'm sure. Nice. I really like what they've done to that. Those wheels, that stance, that colour, yeah, that's cool. I like that a lot. What caught my eye on this one then? You spotted it yet? No, it's what's inside. It's Mike Wazowski! Again, the stance on that is absolutely right. And if you're doing your lessons in that, that's cool. This Mark 1's rather nice, isn't it? Look at those wheels. That is really rather lovely. Don't know why, but all of the stance Mark 1s are catching my eye today. That one especially. I like that. This display is quite cool. It's all of the Merlots, they're all together. How good is this? Look at that. That's cool. I like that. Quite a few of them arrived in convoy as well. Very good, Merlot crew. Very good. I like your work. You look fantastic. This one caught my eye too. There's just something about it. It's very simple, very clean. An RJ plate. It's an early one. Nice. Now Danny from Practical Classics has something quite interesting to say about the NC. It's coming up in just a minute. That is a very smart Mark II. I like it. Okay, just for reference, those are the backlights as normal. Look at those. They look wicked when they're turned on as well. If that's yours, I like your rear lights. Speaking of rear lights, I really like the back end of that Mark III. That's really cool. Let's have a close look. They're wicked. I don't want to disturb this man while he's working on the car, but I saw this morning and I really like it because it's just been done really, really nice. Speaking of another one that I like, it's this Merlot. Look at this. Well done for negotiating that. That's a really lovely Merlot. Nice. That is one of my favourites from the car park. That dark green and gold wheels, that is lovely and it looks immaculate. If that's yours, keep it exactly like that and cherish it. It's lovely. I like your wink as well. Nice work. I like this little addition. Twin exits in the centre. That's very cool. Sounds good too. That is very, very smart. This is still one of my favourite editions of the ND, and most of them are in this colour. You don't see them in this colour very often. Do you know what? I always said that I wanted a white Sport Recaro, but I think now I want a red one. That's really lovely. There's one that's easy to miss. That is the 25th anniversary. Look at the difference between that and the 30th. 30th, bright orange. That, far more subtle. Very smart too. And so my final stop is this area display, because all of the cars look immaculate. They're so well presented. Each one looks a little bit different. They've all had something done to them, but there's almost something for everyone on here. You got Mark 1s, Mark 4s, and there's even this really lovely Mark 3 as well. So if this is your area or you're in that area, you've got a thumbs up from me. Now let's head into the show and get on with some of our interviews.
I have the delight and the pleasure and the privilege of welcoming, and those of you around who have got hands free, I want you to put your hands together and give a big warm welcome to Keith Tanner and Danny Hopkins. Put your hands together for them, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, many people will know who you are. Many people may not know who you are. So we'll come to you first, Keith, if that's okay. No offence there, Danny, but you haven't come nearly as far.
No, that's very true.
Keep the microphones nice and close to your motor, please, gents. It gives our sound engineer down there a job to do as he avoids reverb and has a bit of headroom over there. I'd like to know what, I don't know what I'm talking about. You just said headroom. I don't know what that is. I think headroom is what you get when you set the roof down.
It sounds technical.
Exactly. So I'm going to start with you, Keith, and you've come all the way from America.
Oh, I have, yes. It's a good excuse for a holiday. I figured I'd come and enjoy the beautiful English summertime.
Well, we are in a particularly beautiful area of England at the moment here at Stonor Park. It's a beautiful, beautiful area. However, no offence, there are many, many beautiful areas it could go in the world. So you come over for the MX-5 Owners Club National Rally, and for those of you who don't know who Keith is, where have you been? Have you been living under a rock? Because you have written how many books? 5? Is it 5 books?
4 books. 4 books.
4
yes.
books on tuning MX-5. So I should say Miatas.
One of them's a bit of a cheat. One of them was about building a Lotus 7 style car out of an MX-5. So 3.5. Yeah.
That's close enough. But you've come over from Fly Miata, which is, if I understand, it's an employee-owned business. Is that right?
Correct, yes. When Bill Cardell, the fellow who started Fly Miata, was looking to retire after 38 years of running the business, those of you who are doing the math understand that we didn't start as an MX-5 company, obviously.
No, I was going to come on to this.
But when he wanted to retire, the best way he could think of to move the company along was to let the employees take ownership. So yeah, I'm one of the owners. There's 8 of us. I think it's 8, which is 40% of the company, I think.
Yeah, wow. I mean, so it's 38 years, but if I've read correctly, they actually started out by doing, was it Porsche, Audi, VW
Yes.
things?
Yes, it was the alternative to going to the dealer, basically.
Yeah.
So he did Porsche, Audi, Volkswagen, VW. One of his early customers brought him an MX-5, a Miata, back in 1989. He went for a drive, liked it so much he bought one immediately, put a turbocharger on it with 1,800 miles on the clock.
Yes.
And was the only person who could figure out how to make the turbocharger work.
Okay.
So the manufacturer started sending people to him, and that turned into Fly Miata. Fast forward another 30 years.
And the tagline is, we make your Miata fly. Is that right?
That's right.
Is that still the tagline now?
We don't use it as much, but yes, that is the tagline.
That's very good. Now, you at Fly Miata, obviously people recognise you on YouTube, and you do many, many things. But one of the things that you do is the setup of the cars, like chassis, suspension. Is that right?
That's one of my specialties. I don't work directly in the R&D department these days, but I'm still the one with the most experience in chassis setup and the most interest in chassis setup, so I tend to be the one with the biggest influence there.
So, question for you then. You do chassis setup stuff, or what is the chassis setup like as standard? Is it good, or is there some weaknesses in there?
Which generation are we talking about here?
Oh, that's well, I know that you love a Mark 1 because I was doing my research. You have got 3, or last time I checked, you have 3 1990 MX-5. You've still got the 3?
Yes, I've got 3.
Okay, right, so 1990 Mark 1, NA, good setup as stock, or is there room for improvement?
I mean, there's a reason we fell in love with them in the first place, isn't there? They really do work well. They've got some weak points. The rear suspension travel could be better. But yeah, obviously, I love the originals.
Okay.
One of those is my first car. The first car I bought was a 1990 Miata.
And is that the Canadian one?
It is a Canadian one, yes.
Yeah, and you've also got, is it number 338 off the...
Car number 338 off the line, yes. That was my father's car, and when he passed away, I inherited that one, and that one is mostly stock. So it's a good reminder of what we're starting from, to make sure that we're not going the wrong direction when we're playing with that.
Very good. Now, NB, better or worse as stock? Come on.
It's basically the same car. It's not, the NA and the NB, I don't really view them as distinct platforms. They look different on the outside, but when you get underneath, they're basically the same vehicle. So,
I mean, we are amongst friends here. I'm sure we can upset a few people, but NC, better or worse?
different.
Good answer.
Yeah. We have some folks at work who the NC is their favorite. We have some who prefer some of the other generations. They have a slightly different feel. I mean, I don't need to tell anybody here that's the case. They've got a much more sophisticated chassis than the earlier cars. They are a little bit bigger. They can carry a lot more tire. They're slightly different package. I mean, those of us outside the Miata community, they're all small cars. They're all very, very similar. But those of us inside who are looking at the fine details, they are different chassis, different challenge to work with.
And finally, ND.
I love the thing.
Yeah?
I find it telling you're probably going to get to this. I have a history of doing rally. And Dave Coleman, who's one of the chassis engineers based over in the U.S., is also a rally driver. And actually, the fellow who does the chassis setup for Singer, the 911 company, has a rally background. And I think that's really important to coming up with a good sports car, because it teaches you that the car has to be able to deal with all sorts of surfaces, all sorts of roads. And you can see that in the DNA of the ND, I think. That long travel suspension it's got, its ability to absorb all sorts of things. It might roll a little bit, but it can just cope with the surface. And I think that shows in that rally background. So I'm a big fan personally.
Me too. I think, well, I'm a big fan of all generations. I don't think there is a bad MX-5. I think the NC is more decisive, shall we say, than all of the other generations. I think everyone loves the Mark 1 because it's the original.
It's the icon.
Exactly. Everyone loves the Mark 1. And I think the latest one, the ND, I find it incredible that in a world that we live in now, with all the regulations and all of the things that we have to do, they can still make a car like that, as small as they do it. I think that's amazing. But you mentioned rally. Let's go into rally. So where did it all begin, rally-wise, for you?
Well, rally's a little different in the U.S. than this here. Here, it's baked right into the country. The B roads around here, I can see why all the rally drivers come from the UK. For us, there's really only one tarmac rally in the entire continent, and that's the Targa Newfoundland. And there's similar ones. There's one in Tasmania. There's one in New Zealand. I think there's another one somewhere else. But I entered that one back in 2008. And that's what really got me started on chassis tuning, was setting a car up for very, very rough roads to go quickly as possible, and to be able to deal with anything. You know, it's not like circuit driving where you know that the corner you just went around will be there the next lap. It's just the same as it was the previous lap. There might be a car in a different place, but it's not going to change. And so designing a chassis, designing a car to deal with that sort of change, where it became sort of a passion of mine. It became my goal for the chassis setup. So it started off as a friend and I were going to run it just because a fun thing. It was a bucket list item.
What car did you take, by the way?
I built a 1994 with a high compression 2-liter engine. I bored it and stroked it and stripped the weight out as much as possible, built to the limit of the class. But my friend bailed out, so my wife came with me. My new bride, actually. We had to postpone the first one, more or less, because we got married and my immigration status changed in the States. And then she was my navigator for the first time we did the Targa.
Fantastic.
Yeah, she's running around out here. She looks like a nice, unassuming young lady, but really she's a rally navigator. So, bravest person in the car. But we went back a few years later. The biggest problem we had was that the car wasn't fast enough off the corners. You know, very quick through the corners, but the straights were too long. So we came back 3 years later with a 5.3-liter V8 in the car, somewhere around 350 horsepower, and did it again and ran in the top class on that one. Did quite well.
Wow. Right. Is that the V8 one that you still got?
It's got a bigger engine now. It's 6.2 liters now. But yes, it was slower than the MG that I built myself with a 5.7 liter. So
is that car a bit like Would You Like Some Car Would You Rent It?
It's got that feel to it sometimes. It's got a big hammer to it. On the very first stage that we had with the V8 car, it's the one that you use just to sort of shake the car down, make sure the timing equipment's working and everything like that. And we got to the end of it and someone said, well, how to do up the hill? I said, I'd never noticed there was a hill. The car just went straight up there. There was no indication we were climbing a mountain the whole time.
That's fantastic. That's amazing. I mean, now you've been in the UK for a few days. You can see, you were saying about like corners changing, you know, racetrack at the same corner, whereas rally can change. That is a bit like Britain's roads at the moment. You go out there, you don't know if it's still going to be there when you come back. Potholes seem to appear out of nowhere.
I can't believe there's still a car in England that has both wing mirrors left on the car. That those little tiny B roads, you meet someone coming the other way, it's either the heads or the mirror. One of them's going to go.
This is why we love the MX-5, because it's so ditty and little that it can fit up all these little B roads. You know, that's why we love it so much. But you've been out here. How does it compare to out in the States? And I'm assuming you've been in an MX-5 here. If you haven't, then we'll get that sorted out.
I have. This is not my first time in the UK. I used to come over for events around 2000 or so, and so I've been to one of the big MX-5 owner club events at Brooklands, for example. That sort of thing. So I have had a chance to drive the back roads. And the thing is, I mean, obviously things change quite a bit over the UK. You know, I know the roads up north are very different than the ones down here, and in the US, of course, it's extremely different. The roads that are in California are very different from the ones that we have on the East Coast. The mountain roads we have in Colorado have a very different character, so it's hard to say, you know, how do they compare to the US, because the US is such a large sample size. Compared to our little mountain roads, they're skinnier, but they have much less drop off.
Yes, yes, that is true. I mean, there are some places out there that do have drop-off. I'm thinking sort of like Yorkshire and maybe some places in Wales and so forth. But on the whole, yes, you're not really going to fall off. You might find yourself in a hedge. Yeah. If you go down to the New Forest Way, you might find there's a horse or something in the middle of the road. But on the whole, yes.
Some of the roads near where we live, if you go off, you have lots of time to regret before you have to deal with the actual process.
It's one of those things where you start screaming and then you have to draw breath and continue screaming.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Brilliant, fantastic. Well, it's a real pleasure to have you here with us. Before we move on to you, Danny, I've got one last question for you, okay? There's lots of people out there, and be honest, this is, all of you I'm sure are guilty of this, who like to tinker. Yeah, we can't leave anything alone, especially MX-5s, because it's just a good platform to work on. When it comes to setting up a car, yeah, there's lots of different things you can do. You can do the engine, you can do the brakes, suspension, wheels, tyres. There's almost no end to what you can do. Having been out here a few days now, and been here a good few times, if you were going to set up a car for the UK, just road driving, fast road car, what would you do? Where would you start?
Are you looking for a parts list?
Someone got a pen and paper out there, they're ready for it.
No, I would be starting with the suspension. Yeah. It's always the suspension. I mean, that's where the biggest, I don't know what the British version of bang for the buck is, but thrill for the pound. That's where you can make the biggest difference to the car, of course, and especially around here where it's all about handling. You know, having a huge amount of power on the roads I've been driving the last few days around here and between London and Bristol. There's no point to have a lot of power. You're just never going to be able to use it. So it's going to be all about suspension. And I wouldn't put a lot of tire on the car as well, because then you can also have fun at lower speeds. You can actually get some slip angles going without having to go 300 miles an hour. And just a good compliant suspension that's not surprising.
There you go, you've made everyone's day out there now, because they can, not have to worry about spending mega money, and when they're down the pub they can go, yeah, I know, but I got my advice from an expert. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's put your hands together for Keith Tanner. Thank you very much. We're not over though, because we've got Danny Hopkins. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Danny for our Practical Classics.
Hello.
You made it, only just.
Oh yeah. It was, I don't know if anybody else had the sat-nav issue. We sent you 4 miles that way because it's the other side of the park. I had that one, but I did get to explore some of those fantastic roads that you were just talking about.
Yeah.
And then the queue getting in, which is just great because it builds your anticipation.
Oh yeah. It was very good. There was some. I don't know if anybody else got caught out there, but there was a very amusing moment this morning where they took them a little bit too far, and it got onto a bit of a hill. And all of a sudden, 3 of them just started rolling back. Wheels going forwards, cars going backwards. It was very amusing.
I saw the tyre tracks in the grass. It was very exciting. I thought people were just having fun.
No, they were just stuck. So, Practical Classics, what's the latest?
So, I edit a magazine called Practical Classics, which is still just about Britain's biggest selling classic car magazine. And we are a print product, which makes me some kind of weird anachronism, but we still sell 40,000 copies every issue. We're still very profitable. My owning company is still on my back every month asking me to cut costs and create efficiency, but that means that they think we have a future, which is great. But we've got multi-platform, so we've got the show, we've got Practical Classics, Classic Car and Restoration.
Yeah, very good.
We're doing work with Amazon. There's a little YouTube channel we've got going. So we've got a load of stuff going on, and it looks like it's going to continue, which is really nice. Our sales are holding up and everything's good. And the most important thing that we do, I think we do it in Practical Classics more than any other publication, is we make sure we push forward with what might be considered a classic car, tomorrow's classics, modern classics, cherished cars that are now emerging. So for instance, I can exclusively reveal here that the December issue of Practical Classics, which will be on sale at the NEC, will feature as the main car on the cover a Mazda MX-5 NC.
Wow!
So we'll be first doing that because, as far as I'm concerned, that's is that cars always go through that kind of hinterland, that price curve which drops and drops and drops, and then it reaches the bottom, and then suddenly the rarity, it's supply and demand, it's economics. But the rarity value and the nostalgia value picks it up, and then it starts going back in value. The NC is on its way down right now. There's no argument about that. It just is. So, from my mind, if you're a young person and you want to start with a classic car, a car of interest, NC MX-5s are the way to go. And I think featuring the NC, no accident, and the cover line is your first classic. Nice. So we're looking at cars like the Mazda MX-5 NC as being a really great option for young people in particular, if you can get insurance. And I'm sure we have a conversation about that later, on the stage, about insurance. I think an NC is a fantastic shout. Now, I'm no expert. And one of the great things, by the way, about I came to the show last year, and I sat with Bob Hall and Tom Matano. I had the honour of interviewing them, which was just blew my mind.
That's a ride, isn't it?
Oh,
Bob is a nut.
Oh, yeah, it's just the best. I mean, as a journalist in an interview, you just go, anyway, and then he's off. Yeah, and it's not just talking about stuff. He's got anecdotes. He's got stuff to say, which is funny. And the best thing is Tom Matano is like his sort of younger brother, sort of going, yeah, Bob, but it really happened like this. Yeah, it was great. But I have to say I'm sitting next to another MX-5 legend today. So, I mean, I come here as an enthusiast, and I love this show. I love the MX-5 Owners Club because it's everything a club should be, including a day out like this. So, hats off to Ian and the guys for organising. Actually, also, hats off to all the volunteers who make today happen. I think they deserve a round of applause.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Without them, none of this happens.
You can spot them, they've all got these really high-vis hats. Not only are they in high-vis, they've got high-vis hats.
They've also got a slightly worried look on their faces a lot of the time. I just want to make sure everyone's happy.
I want one of the hats.
Yeah,
I really do.
But I'm an addict, an MX-5 nuts. I've had 2 MAs, I've had 2 MBs. I've got my second MB at the moment, and I love them because they're everything a sports car should be. There's nothing not to like. There's no superfluous additional stuff on them. They're just right from out of the box. But I have to say, I did about 8 years ago. Mazda did a driving day at Goodwood. We went around the circuit and we got to jump in all of the MX. I got to play with them all, special editions. And I got to drive. I found my sweet spot. Go on. It's the Le Mans, the Mark 1 Le Mans.
Oh, Roger will be pleased.
I do believe there's one here.
Yeah. With the teeny weeny turbo, and you just think, because it just gives you a little bit of, because the chassis can handle loads more power. We all know that, but you get that little extra shove, and it's just beautiful. And for some reason, that car was brilliantly set up. But I remember thinking that day, going through the entire range, how actually, like fine wines, okay, I'm going to sound a bit pretentious now. Like fine wines, every incarnation of the MX-5, including some of the special editions, have a slightly nuanced difference. They talk to your bottom differently, and they talk to your hands differently. They just interact with you different, in a very slightly different, nuanced way. And I'm with you on the ND. I thought, that was the launch kind of event for that car. I just saw what a thing.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And even is it lighter than the? They managed to keep it light, which is astonishing.
Yeah.
With everything going on, as you say, with legislation, with the hoops you have to jump through as a manufacturer, for that car to be that good is nothing short of a miracle. It's astonishing. So I can't wait until I can feature that one on the cover as well.
Hey, here's the question for you.
Right.
You put an NC on there, and everyone's like, "Ooh, yeah, that sounds great."
Yeah.
I guarantee you get asked this all the time. As soon as you say on the edge for a practical fact, what defines a classic car? When does a car become a classic car?
Well, you do need beer for that. You do need, or actually, do you know what? This is a bit. You haven't got seating up. You've got pews.
Oh yeah.
This is like being in church, really.
Yeah. By the way, we've taken these from the church. They're all on the floor over there.
So what defines a classic car is the ultimate question, and to be honest, we are a very broad church. So basically, if you love your car, so do we. I think some cars become more classic sooner than others, but it really is down to the individual. One of the things I've learned editing them. I've edited them out for 15 years now, and I've been on Practical Classics for over a quarter of a century. And the one thing that I've realised through that time is that actually classic cars are not really about the cars. They're actually about the people, and that includes the people that develop them, build them, the clubs, the people that own them, because we're all individual curators of our own exhibit in the world's greatest automotive museum. So it's actually about the people and their attitude to their car. So I interviewed a guy at the Boston Classic Car Show a couple of weeks ago. He's got a BMW 1 Series, right? You wouldn't look at that car twice. But when you talk to him about his story with that car, about the trials and tribulations he's gone through, about rushing his wife to hospital, about driving through the Alps, about rebuilding the suspension and doing something different, his relationship with that car is what makes it a classic. Yeah, and that is something I think, hopefully in the magazine we try and do. We try and tell people's stories, as well as the technical stuff. We're a technical magazine, telling how to fix things. We've got our own workshop. But actually what makes it magic, what makes it different, and what makes it distinctive from all the other titles and from a lot of what we see in the classic media, is that we focus really hard on people and their relationship with the cars they've got. And that's what makes them a classic.
Very good, that's a very good answer, Daniel. I've never thought of it that way, but I think that's pretty much now on the head.
If you look through pages of Practical Classics, there's lots of people in there, yeah?
Yeah.
Some of them, you know, never been in a magazine before, probably never be in a magazine again. But you know, when I say stand by your car, because it's about you and the vehicle. And I think one of the things that, you know, the horse and rider aspect of the MX-5, it's your relationship with that vehicle that makes it special. The car itself is just a car, but when you're in it and you're driving it, you're enjoying it, you're fixing it, you're improving it, that's what imbues it with a classic status.
Okay, can I ask you a question then? I'm bringing you in here as well, ladies and gents. All of us here love our cars, right? We all agree with that, yeah, we absolutely love them. They feel very special to us. The things that we do, as you were saying about the owner of the 1 Series, you really have a relationship with the car. Not in a weird way, you have a relationship with that car. They become like time capsules to the time you spend with the car. The automotive industry, as we know, is going through probably the biggest change it's ever been through. You know, we're moving away from internal combustion, electrification, etc. We've got lots and lots of things happening. And one of the things that I've noticed of, you know, commentating events for 15 odd years and so forth, is that I'm seeing less and less new faces coming in. You know, all of us here, you know, we're all friends, we're all family, we're very welcoming of new people. We want, you know, come join us, we have a good time. But there seems to be a dwindling interest in the car, especially with the newer generation of people coming in. And I get it, it's because things are more and more expensive. You know, over the last few years, the rate of things has gone through the roof. We just don't have the money. Even learning to drive, I saw a post the other day. You know, when we learned to drive, what was it, 10 quid, 20 quid for a lesson, something like 80 odd pounds now for a lesson to learn to drive. So what are you going to do? You're going to spend your money learning to drive? Are you going to buy, you know, a new phone or go on that amazing holiday? You know, what are you going to do? Where do you reckon we're going to be in 20 years' time?
Yeah, I think I'm an optimist. I think the classic movement, the classic industry has got a really bright future for that reason. Because modern cars just aren't fun. You don't have a relationship with a modern electric vehicle. They're basically transport. You know, they're really cool. They're better than any car we've ever known. You know, they'll get you from A to B cheaper and faster and more efficiently than anything else and fine. But there's no personality, they're no fun. I couldn't tell. I look at a car park full of EVs. I don't really know what they are. They're just really efficient, really good pieces of transport. And that means that the classic movement has a really important role to play. That means that when young people think, I want to do something different, get off my phone and get out and do something, we're here and we're ready to say, come and play with these cars, come and play with these old cars, come and make them better. And they will be here in 100 years' time. You know, there's no doubt about it. Guys like you are going to make sure that happens. So, you know, we are going to have the Austin 7s of today will be the MX-5s of tomorrow, and there'll be kids and their dads and their granddads and their grandmothers and their mums all playing with them, all having a great time coming to these events, because it is distinctive and different and lifts you out of the homogenised boredom of modern transport. So I think we have a bright future, and I'm very optimistic. Please?
I just wanted to add, we run an event at our shop. We call it the Miatas Summer Camp. It used to be an open house. It got a little too big for that. And for years, it was started off as an event to just thank our customers for being our customers. We had started off as a barbecue, and things got out of control. And we saw a change about 5 years ago. We saw a shift in demographics. All of a sudden, a whole bunch of younger people started showing up, a bunch of new people. And it was the YouTube generation. It was people who had come to know us through our YouTube channel. They connected to each other through YouTube and through social media, that sort of thing. And the demographics of that event have changed dramatically in the last few years. It's a completely different new event. They want to do dynamic things. We do 3 track days as part of this event now, and we fill up the track every single day, exclusively with MX-5s, because that's the sort of thing they want. They want the action, the excitement, but they are also interested in the car show. They want to show off their cars. They tend to be modified quite a bit, and maybe not modified with a lot of money, but interesting graphics. They're always looking for interesting stuff from Japan, for example, which is harder for us than it is for you, from what I can tell, because we drive on the side of the road, so more difficult. But we are definitely seeing a demographic shift. I mean, the youth looking for a chance to play with these old cars, they're still out there.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of sort of getting their attention and bringing them in, and you'll see them here soon enough.
I want to give you an example of why I'm optimistic, Tim. I MC a show called Rustival, which happens at the British Motor Museum, just on the 3rd one, a couple of weeks ago. And I rejoice at the fact that I am literally the oldest guy there. Yeah, and that is as it should be. I'm the oldest guy there because a bunch of kids turn up in their MX-5s or there's some stuff you wouldn't consider classic, but they love their cars. It's the stuff they can afford. That's the most important thing.
Yes.
There's 2 types. There's two types of young people that come to that show. And by the way, it's packed, it's sold out, and it's brilliant. It's inviting. Everyone's welcome. Doesn't matter what you bring. Just love your car. We love it too. Perfect attitude. But there's another kind of young person who turns up. They'll turn up in a TR3. And I'll tell you why they'll turn up in a TR3 or an older classic or an Austin 7 or something. It's because their dad or their mum has given them the keys. And that is crucial.
Yeah.
If we want our young people to enjoy classic cars, if we want to be doing this in 30 years' time, there's just a little mantra, and you've got to say it to yourself or to your friends or to anybody you know who's got a classic car: give your kids the keys. Because if you don't, when you go, that car's going to get sent to an auction house and sold for less than it's worth. And that's a tragedy. Give your kids the keys. Invite your kids into the workshop. Show them how it works. Allow them to make mistakes. Allow them to sit in that car. Allow them to show it off to their mates. Allow them to dream about owning it one day. Because if you don't do that, all this is going to die. So that's my advice, is give your kids the keys, and also allow people to call themselves classic car owners, even if they own a car that you don't think is classic. So I think there's a load of hope.
Don't be a gatekeeper. Don't close the door to other people.
Totally, 100%.
I think every single person here today, so I do lots and lots of shows like that. I do about 25 shows a year. Okay, that's all different clubs. MX-5s, do BMW, do Italian, you name it. All different types. And every single one has got a different demographic. They've all got a different feel. Some of them are very, very show off, and others are very, very friendly. What I would say is, be friendly. Do you know what I mean? If you see someone looking at your car or talking about the car and so forth, go and talk to them. You'll make friends. You'll start seeing lots of new people. But also sometimes you'll see people, I'm going to say trash talk. Do you know what I mean? They'll judge a car. It's all like, that's a bit of a shame. Don't do that. There's a reason why the person has done that to their car. Be positive. And you don't have to be so cynical. There will be a reason. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean other people don't.
Yeah, I've seen it happen a lot more lately. A lot of people are getting this. I mean, something like the Classic Car Loan Project, which is now being rebranded as Borrow Classic. They are doing great work. They're just saying to people, look, your Classic's in your shed and you're not using it much. Let's have it for a year. It'll be fully insured, and we'll let a young person have it and drive it. There's loads of criteria around it. It's really safe. It's all insured. And make sure that that person's got a place to store their car off road, etc. But it's giving people access to these cars, which people would never have dreamt it in the past. So those kind of schemes really work. These kind of shows really work, and I think the MX-5 Owners Club has, more than any other Owners Club, single mark Owners Club that I know, has got a really great attitude to its young people. The number of people I see at this show who don't have grey hair or no hair like me is reasonably high. So it's good.
So I first did, so when I started doing freelance work and presenting and so forth, MX-5 Owners Club was one of the first clients that I had. They were one of the first ones that, hey, we'd love you to come down to the show and do it. And I had a mark on an MX-5 and I came down to the show. And I've done it pretty much every single year since. Now since then, you know, I've gone on to Bewley and British Motor Museum, done shows all over the place. So spoke to literally over 100,000 people over the last 15 years. And I can say, and I mean this, I'm not saying this to make you all feel good, but I genuinely mean this. MX-5 Owners Club is there. It is, for me, number one. It's the warmest one. Because who's got an NA? Who's got Mark 1? Raise your hands very quickly. Who's got an MD? NC? ND? Right, put your hand up if you think yours is best. There you go, everybody. And nobody, right, nobody there, Johnny, there's no one, oh, well, you've got an NC, everybody appreciates everyone else's car, and you don't see that in every single club. You really, really don't. You don't see it throughout the industry. So I think what MX-5 owners could have got is extremely special.
You know, there's a really interesting thing as well. I think sometimes it's a bit like dogs, isn't it? People take on the characters of their cars. Yeah. And for me, an MX-5 is an everyman car, but it's also got a friendly face. It's accessible. It's a really democratic sports car to own because you can fix it yourself. And it's got a great story. The story of the development of the MX-5 is just beautiful, and the whole idea of its inception in the first place. You know, we were talking to Bob and Tom last year. It's just full of warmth, and it's full of inventiveness, and it's full of brilliant, lovely problem solving. And I'm every time I come to an event with the MX-5 owners, I just feel like I'm part of the family, and that's a very good feeling.
Yeah, and genuinely, you can't stress that enough. It really does feel like family. And we've got family now all the way over in the States coming over. So, ladies and gentlemen, can I please ask you to put your hands together for our two guests, Sis Keaton and Danny Hopkins. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Later on, gents, we're going to sit down. We've got Garage of Luke here with us as well. We're going to sit down and we're going to talk about YouTube. Very, very exciting. So, this morning, I woke up. I was a bit annoyed about this, you know. So last night I was sat there refreshing the old YouTube account because it was creeping up. It was on 991, 992, and it was getting up and up and up and up. And I went to bed and it was on 9,998, and I was like, oh, is it going to get into 5 figures? And I woke up this morning and it had gone over. It was on 10,007 or something like that. And I was like, damn it, I missed the actual number, but I'm dead chuffed that I've got to 10,000 now. There's lots of channels out there. I mean, how many subscribers have Fly Miata got?
I don't actually know. I was trying to look it up earlier.
Well, we've got over 100,000, but it's the channel that's kind of the most active is the one we do with Amazon, which is called Fixing Up. And that's actually, I don't know what that is, but it's worldwide, and I don't know, it's Amazon looks after that. But it's big one, good numbers.
But big numbers, but everyone should celebrate their little achievement. So this morning, I'm celebrating my little achievement of hitting 5 figures on YouTube. I'm dead sure.
Round of applause for Tim, please. He's reached 5 figures.
Thank you. But we're going to talk about doing YouTube, and we can look at it from all different perspectives. We've got big numbers, we've got smaller individual solo creators. We're going to have a look at all of that later on this afternoon. It's over at the Mazda stand. Thank you very much, by the way, for coming and joining us, Mazda. It's lovely to see you.
It's lovely to be here, as always.
It's a family, isn't it?
It is.
Now, I can't remember a time when you've done this. You bought a brand new car, and it's under a cover over there as well, so we haven't seen it yet. Can you give us a little clue what it is? Because you're going to reveal it in about 5 or so minutes.
We're, yes, very excited to reveal. This is the second public debut of our vehicle, and its first public debut about 2 weeks ago at Carfest. So it's nice to be able to exclusively reveal to the owners of the MX-5, the members of the MX-5 owners club, this exciting new car.
Is it the new MX-5?
Unfortunately not.
Oh, okay. So what is it?
It's our new all-electric 5-door hatchback.
Okay, well, I've heard about this. What's it called? Is it the
Mazda 6e?
Okay.
It's rear-wheel drive, near 50-50 weight distribution. So if you're a Mazda MX-5 owner, you'll be very familiar with those kind of terms. So it's got a bit of a sprinkle of MX-5 magic into the electric car era.
Nice. So it's electric. So front-wheel drive,
rear-wheel drive.
Oh, excellent. We are keeping it to the platform. This is good. So rear-wheel drive, electric.
Yeah,
What else?
50 weight distribution.
What else can you tell us?
Well, UK specs are yet to be announced.
Okay.
It'll be around about 250 brake horsepower.
That's pretty decent.
Yes. And battery specs are also yet to be confirmed, but we're looking around somewhere between 300 and 350 miles.
Range. Wow, that's decent.
So it'll make it very competitive.
That's excellent. So, do you know the price point you get?
We haven't announced UK prices, but to
Okay.
give you an idea, in Europe the car is priced at €44,900.
Okay, so I'm liking the sound of this. This is going to be really exciting. And it's here now, it's under the cover. We're going to
It is.
reveal it a little bit later on in about 5 or so minutes' time.
Yep.
So those of you sat around here and sat out there and so forth, please do come over to the Mazda stand right outside the front of the house. And we're going to be doing that reveal in about 5 minutes' time. Is there any other important things that we should know about the 6E?
Well, it's just part of Mazda's multi-solution approach. Obviously, Mazda believe that there's not just one solution to our motoring needs, there's a variety of solutions. That's why we've got a variety of internal combustion engines, electrification platforms from mild hybrid to full hybrid to plug-in hybrid. So the electric solution provides us with another a technology solution for people looking to buy a vehicle.
It's a very exciting time at
It
the moment
is.
in the automotive industry. I
Lots
can't
of
remember a time when it went through this much change all at the same time.
There's lots of change, there's lots of competitors, so we really need to make sure that we stand out from the crowd, and this product really is an exceptional product to have in our lineup.
Are we allowed to sit in it, or can we only look at it?
You can come along, sit in it, and me and my colleagues are happy to show you around the interior, all the storage spaces, the entertainment system. So yes, come along, touch, feel. It's a pre-production vehicle, so there's only 2 in the UK, so it is a very exclusive vehicle. But yeah, we're delighted to be able to give you a bit of a hands-on experience on what is a very special car.
Oh, I'm dead excited. I can't wait to see it. I think I've seen some photos of it when it was announced, and I thought it was a really sharp-looking thing. But I'm dead excited to see it in the flesh.
We get a lot of comments about the styling, a lot of compliments. And when we did the public debut at Carfest, we was astounded by the positive response from the general public.
Now, obviously, you've got your Mazda shirt on there. Put your
Yes.
hand over the Mazda shirt. Put your hand over it. There you are. You're no longer on Mazda time. What do you think of it?
I think it's fantastic.
Good answer.
But the good news is that we have tested Tesla Model 3, BYD Seal, Volkswagen ID7, Hyundai Ioniq 6, Polestar 2. We've had those cars at our head office in Dartford. Be able to sit in them, play with them, touch them, drive them, and really get to grips and under the skin of these electric vehicles and what makes them so different and so unique are also where our key strengths lies. And we've got a fantastic product with this Mazda 6E.
Brilliant, brilliant. Now, before we head over there, there's one final thing that we need to talk about. It's the badge.
Badge,
on
yes.
there. So you may be able to see for what they may not. There's this little pin badge, this little red Mark 1 MX-5, which, by the way, if you haven't got one of these, you need to go over to Mazda because I've only got, about 80 of them left, is it? About that?
Yes.
So there are 5 for each, and all of the money's going to charity. And it was a really worthwhile cause. Can you give us an update and tell us what it was all about?
So yeah, we started raising money for 3 children's cancer charities because my colleague and counterpart over in Mazda UK, his daughter was unfortunately diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma earlier on this year. Great news is though that last month she rang the bell, she's all clear, so now it's just recovery. So she's fought cancer and won.
That's fantastic. Ladies and gents, I think that deserves a round of applause. Please put your hands together there for that. What a fantastic bit. I'm so delighted.
We are so happy. It's brilliant news. And Stuart sends all of his love to the Mazda MX-5 Owners Club. He unfortunately couldn't be here today because he's cycling for charity in the London to Brighton for, again, the same charities for his daughter. But he will be at the next MX-5 show in the spring next year.
Fantastic. Well, send this video to him. We are so delighted for you and your family. Huge congratulations. We are absolutely over the moon for all of you. So, we're going to be talking about cars on YouTube and talking about doing YouTube and starting a YouTube channel and so forth, because lots of people are doing it now. And even more people are asking about it. So where shall we begin? I guess if we'll start with you, Keith, as you're right next to me.
Closest, yes.
You're closest. You have been on the YouTube as it is. What has been your experience so far with YouTube?
Well, the goal of our channel is a little different than most of the others, is that we're not trying to make the channel self-sustaining. For us, it's a way to communicate with our customers. It's a way to sort of establish ourselves as technical experts, to educate potential customers about what they want to know about how the Miata works, how suspension works. I tend to do more theoretical ones, more theoretical technical conversations. But the goal of ours is not necessarily to grow a huge audience and to make money off YouTube itself. It's there to support the business, the parts business that's well established.
I was going to say, is it part of that sort of lead generation? There's this thing called the sales funnel where you have right at the very top awareness, and then you go down through consideration, evaluation, and finally you come out to the very bottom of it, which is when you finally take the money out of your pocket and put it in someone else's hand. So for you, I'm guessing YouTube is very much about that awareness.
It is, and that was the original goal, was basically to bring people in, let them know about our products, let them know about our shop, and teach them a little bit what they need to know. You know, how does the suspension work? Why would you want this kind of coilover setup, or how do you set them up properly, or brakes, that sort of thing. But what's happened is it's helped build a really strong community around the brand and around the company itself. So we have our annual summer camp that is just a big, it's a meet kind of like this one, but noisier. And we are seeing more and more younger folks show up to that because they are drawn from the YouTube channel. That's how they know us now.
Interesting. So
it's been a nice side effect.
Yeah, it's gone from just building awareness to actually reaching new audiences.
It's bringing a lot of new people in. Yeah, it's growing the awareness of the company quite well.
Brilliant. Now, Danny, I'm going to move on to you because you, sir, come from, we'll call it traditional media, where you have sort of a...
Let's say old.
Look, I'm not going to say old. I'm not saying old, but very
established.
Yeah, established, thank you.
You know, when I was doing my training and education and so forth, YouTube was still very, very much in its infancy, and it was always, you went to the editorial houses, there was an editor, there was a hierarchy, there was editorial guideline, it was all very, very structured, and now all of a sudden YouTube's come along, and it's a bit like the Wild West. Even now it's still a little bit like the Wild West out there. So how does YouTube integrate with everything that you do within a traditional media platform?
Two ways. We've got the awareness building. Practical Classics has its own YouTube channel where we basically broadcast stuff that we do, and it's very simple, and we put it on our socials and that kind of thing. It's another way of reaching an audience, particularly a younger audience, so they understand the brand, and we hopefully bring them in and then they start buying mags. The other one we do is we do partnerships. So because we've got an established audience of people who buy stuff already for their classic cars, we were approached by Amazon to do a show for them on YouTube called Fixing Up with Amazon, and they paid us to produce that show as a YouTube show from our workshop, because it makes its own workshop, and they paid for that by giving brands exposure through what we did. So it's a commercial proposition. The brands, I had to okay them because there's no way we could promote a brand that wasn't. So it was Castrol, it was Bosch, it was Liquimon, really established good brands that we would trust. So that was a commercial proposition, and it did very well, and that it's ongoing. We're going to be doing another series, Clive and I. Yeah, the one thing we need to distinguish between is organic growth and paid for growth, because Amazon promoted that, we promoted that. A lot of it was paid for, and then the organic growth came out of it. And for organic growth to grow, you've got to have a proposition which is really compelling. And Clive and I, he's a grumpy old man, I'm a bit of a Labrador, good combination. So when we're restoring cars, that got a bit of traction. And the other thing, and the most important thing, and I don't know if you agree with this, Luke, but is that you have to have kind of hook. People need to know what Fixing Up is. And every show started off by saying, welcome to Fixing Up, the classic car show where we restore cars that you can win. And that's it. That's the sign above the door. And that's what people got their head around, and that's probably why they came back for more. Simple messages.
So has YouTube, because YouTube in terms of like editorial guidelines is very much set about the creator, and it has become easier than ever. I mean, even what we're filming on now, this tiny little camera here, this will do probably better image quality than some of the really big expensive stuff behind us.
Your phone,
exactly.
yeah.
So the entry level now is so low. How
for you, coming from traditional media where there's guidelines and all sorts of editorial standards, and on YouTube where there's very, very little, they're pretty much set by the creator.
Yeah.
How was that combined, sort of like in your?
Well, it's really
environment?
easy, to be honest, Tim, because we're all enthusiasts anyway. So if we weren't making a Mac, we'd be doing YouTube probably, you know, because we're all big gobby. We don't change at all. Practical Classics is also very irreverent. It's a magazine that's full of fun. It's about workshop banter. It's about people. So really, we just transfer what we do on the page into a YouTube format and remember not to swear. Very good.
Excellent. I'm glad you're remembering that now because it's certainly cheaper for me in terms of bleep buttons. Now, Garage of Luke.
Hello.
Hello. So we're all coming from this in quite different perspectives. What's your perspective of YouTube?
So YouTube for me was something that I very much have grown up with in terms of it's, you know, being a teenager and getting my first project cars, it would become my go-to. I remember I really got into watching content on YouTube when I bought my first Mitsubishi GTO because Freddie Fernandez, Tavares, was doing a lot of GTO and 3000 GT content. So I remember many hours spent watching. It's like, well, how do I fix this? How do I fix that? And for a lot of the younger generations getting into classics and retros, being able to just go on YouTube and access a video of someone doing the job you're about to do, it's almost a replacement for the Haynes manual.
Yeah.
It's being able to visually see exactly what you have to do to achieve something. So I think on that side of it, like the how-to side of YouTube has done very well, but also it is becoming the new entertainment media. You know, it's when I started the channel in February this year, my grandfather thought, well, that's not a job. And to be fair, he was right. Starting a YouTube channel is not a job. And for 6 months in, for it to be paying me full time now is I feel very lucky.
Yes,
But also, he started watching the videos as an 82-year-old. And now every time I go around, it's farming videos. It's because he's realised all you need to do is search what you want and he can find it.
Yes.
So TV is now irrelevant because you have to wait for the things to be on or on demand. There's never everything. On YouTube, you can just search exactly what you want to see and see it then for free.
But this is sort of the way of the world now. If you think about even 10, 15 years ago, you would watch TV or you'd record something on the old box and so forth, and then you could binge watch it and so forth. Then services like Netflix came along, you've got Spotify and so forth. We don't keep CDs and stuff in the car anymore. Well, I do because I'm that way inclined. But you know, you just go on Spotify and you search the album that you want or the song that you want, and everything is very much on demand. It's on-demand content now. And you know, I've got a 4-year-old at home. We went on holiday where there was no internet and she had to watch CBeebies, you know, as it was broadcast. And this, you could see her tiny mind could not compute this idea of having to wait to watch this piece of content. But equally, YouTube now, I don't know about for you guys, but for me, I've seen it go through a transition. Before, you would have channels, say like big channels like Casey Neistat, for example. They were quite a broad church. He didn't niche down into something particular. His niche was producing a video and publishing it every single day, and he did that for like 4 or 5 years. And he did all sorts of things on that. You know, he went on, you know, aircraft flying first class and talked about tech. Whereas now we're getting very niche channels, incredibly niche channels. And it's almost gone from you can subscribe to the channels that you want, and then YouTube will do the work and build your homepage. So when you go on there, you can find all of this great content that all of these various people have published. Where do you reckon it's going to go next? So I'm going to come to you, Keith, first. What do you think would be the next transition in YouTube? Or what would you like to see the next transition to be?
I didn't think we were going quite this deep in this conversation today. And to me, it's always been more of a niche supplier, a niche source.
Yeah.
I must admit, I don't actually watch a lot of YouTube myself. It's ironic, I'm in more videos than I watch, but that's how it works. But those people I have followed in the past, it's always been a little niche. Specialists in certain areas. I go to it to hear from, like, to be entertained, of course, but also to hear from experts.
Yes.
So there's a fellow named Adam Neely who does music theory, who does fantastic breakdowns of all sorts of music theory, and I go to him quite a bit because he's that super nerdy niche kind of thing. So for me, that's always been where it is. It's always where it's been. And I think we'll continue to see that. I think we'll continue to see the specialization. We saw that in broadcast television. It gradually broke down, probably more in the States than in the UK, it broke down from the big national networks, and then you started getting networks that are more and more specialized, you know, with the Golf Channel of all things. And we're seeing that same sort of thing in YouTube as well. You know, it's focusing in.
What about you there, Danny?
I think the one thing that we all need to remember is that the people who make the most money out of YouTube are YouTube.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
let's not mess that one up, because and they do change their criteria and their operations in order to maximise the profitability, but also to keep people on their toes. I mean, you probably find that all the time that you know, you have to change how you do things and what you do, because it's gone from number of views to number of subscribers to back to minutes viewed and that kind of bit, and where you rank in the YouTube rankings, which is crucial, is dependent on a variety of factors, and they're always changing. So the one thing I suppose that we can guarantee about YouTube is that change will be continuous. The one thing that will never change is change.
Yeah.
You always got to be aware of what YouTube needs you to do in order to be popular. The other thing though, and this is really important, you've got to be good. If you're not good, people won't watch, or they will watch, but they'll watch because they have to, because they need to know how to do a thermostat on a RX-7 or something, you know. So I think it's really important to be good. And I know that when I go to YouTube, because if I want to do a how-to, you know, I'll go to YouTube, find it, and there will be 5 or 6 guys doing the same thing on the same car. I'll choose the best one. Be good, be a good communicator, have the world's loudest voice. Are you an opera singer? It's amazing. It's like sitting next to the Go Compare man. Oh no, not that sort. But yeah, so be really, really good. Make compelling content. And that doesn't mean the production values necessarily have to be sky high. You've got to be a communicator, and most crucially of all, you've got to be authentic. You've got to be yourself, because nothing exposes a fake more than a camera and a microphone.
Yeah. 100%. Now, Luke, you said that you're now doing YouTube full time. The thing with doing YouTube full time, and it's something I still aspire to do, but when you do rely on a source, for example, if you have a full time job, as all of us know, when you have a full time job, you have a contract with that employer. There are ground rules in place. You know, there's things that you can do, there's things you can't do. Equally, there's things your employer can do and they can't do. With YouTube, there isn't. You are not employed by them. You make revenue off them, effectively selling your content to advertisers, and then the advertisers pay. We don't really have, I say we as a collective we, but you know, us here, we produce the content, put it on the platform. We don't really have a leg to stand on, as it were. They want to change the policy, they change it. We don't get a say in it. For you, as a relatively, you know, new creator, shall we say, how do you feel about that?
I mean, it is one of those things where I remember when I decided to start, I knew that I had to just basically kick myself in the bottom and make it a sink or swim operation, because for years I told myself I was going to get round to it, I was going to do it, I was going to eventually start. So I realised that what I had to do is just quit. I had to quit my job, because if I made it a matter of, if this fails, you have failed to do the thing that you dream of doing, then that was the only way I was going to be able to kind of put the effort into it, put the time into it. So it was a huge risk, don't get me wrong. I mean, I spent a few months sort of saving up and making sure I had a buffer amount, and knew that like within 12 months it had to pay.
Can I ask a question? Was there a moment where you went, I made it, this is the turnkey moment? Was there a video, a bit of content you put out? What was it?
So the video, it feels weird to say this at an MX-5 because I've only done one video on my MX-5, but the video I put out where I think my videographer and I both just sat there, looked at it and went, we've done bloody well here, was I bought a Peugeot 607 from BCA.
Oh, good car.
I paid...
With a little button in the O for the boot. Oh,
yeah, and how long did it take me to find that?
Yeah, but there's a YouTube video for it somewhere.
So all we did, the video that did really well was a 2-part series. Second video did well, where we took it to Cornwall. But the first part of me turning up at British car auctions, buying it, the people at BCA saying don't try and drive it out of London, it won't make it. I mean, we did 70,000 views on that, and that was like our 5th video.
Brilliant.
So for that to happen so early, I mean, I set myself a target at the start of, in February. I was like, if we could be getting around 10,000 views on the odd video by the end of the year, I'd be chuffed. First video did 50k, and I was like, well, that's always, that's like the buzz. That's going to die down fast. But then to do a few at 10k, which was my end of the year target, and then hit 70, to be approaching 20,000 subscribers after 6 months, everything's happened a lot faster than I thought it would. Which either I'm good at what I do, which is questionable, or people are enjoying watching me suffer in rubbish cars, which I think is possibly more likely.
Yeah, probably, yes. Now, it is starting to rain out there, so we're not going to be mean and keep you all stood there for long, because I know you'll want to hear various bits and pieces. So we'll come on to sort of the question that everybody wants to know, and that is, if I'm going to start a YouTube channel, what should I do? What's your advice, etc., etc.? You started most recently, so we'll come to you first.
So this, I'll try not to make it too lengthy an answer on account of the weather, but previous larger channels that I had done some work with and spent a lot of time around, I always used to hear the same thing: find a niche, find a niche, find a niche. I don't agree with that, which is somewhat controversial compared to what they say. I say, film what you're passionate about. Film, the best content you'll make is content that you're doing anyway. I've spent the last 5 years mucking about with rubbish cars. Why would I not just film that? I'm doing it anyway, therefore you're not going, I'm going to buy a project car and do a series of videos, because you're going to put a lot of financial outlay into it to make something that you wouldn't otherwise be doing. Do the content that you are comfortable with and that you're passionate about and that you're already doing, because your passion will always come through. And passion, I feel, is the biggest driver. If you're watching a video, you want to see someone being passionate. Because passionate, as I've found, can mask a lot of personality flaws.
What do you mean?
I was going to say, that's quite awkward, because my link there is straight on to Danny.
No, that's absolutely right. Don't let anything get in the way of a good story, as the journalist once said. I think you're right. And passion and actually authenticity, because if you are authentically crap, then be authentically crap on screen, and people will want to watch it. I would also say, make sure you know yourself as a communicator as well. So if you start trying to perform or trying to be something that you're not, then you will fail. I'll tell you who I'm going to cite for this one, and he's not everybody's cup of tea, but Mike Brewer, Wheeler Dealer. Now, Mike, if you know him, is exactly the same off screen as he is on screen. What you see is what you get. He is that man. So he's 100% authentic. And that's why people like him. Or don't like him, because he's a Marmite character. But that's why his show is so successful. He's 100% who he is. And all the best guys, including Luke, they're 100% who they are, on screen, off screen. And Luke's absolutely right. Film what you know, film what makes you passionate, film what makes your heart tick.
And finally, though.
I mean, this is great advice over here. I'm paying attention to this. I'm going to make some notes later. But for us, what really helped us break through was setting up a regular live broadcast every week. And the reason for that is it forced us to get out there and do a new video every week, and not just obsess over finalizing one before. You've got to know when to just like turn it off and walk away. Okay, we're done. It doesn't need any more editing. And don't worry too much about the production values, especially at first. If you spend all your time worrying about the production values, you might forget about the content. And one of the most, well, it's not one of the most popular, but one of the popular videos on our channel is me in my home garage. It was shot during the pandemic, lit by the LED lights in my garage. It was filmed with an iPhone zip tied to a transmission jack, and it's me going on about anti-roll bars. And it is something I feel passionate about. It's passion that someone can feel about anti-roll bars. But more importantly, it's good information, and it gets a lot of views simply because it's quality content. It's terrible production values, but the fact that we were forced to get out there and do something by our weekly schedule, and that it was something that was good quality, that's what's driving that video, and not antics or the world's best lighting, top tier level production values. Yeah. Sometimes you have to accept that you're just not there yet, but as long as it's a good video, people will watch it.
And actually, there's one thing, I've met a lot of YouTube creators, people like Ian Seabrook and Steph. They all say the same thing when you start a YouTube channel. Just do it. Just do it. Don't think about doing it for too long. Just do it.
Very good. Well, hopefully, ladies and gents, that has given you some advice and some guidance, maybe even inspired you to start your own YouTube channel. All I've got to say is a big thank you to all of our guests. Now please ask you to put your hands together for Keith Tanner, for Danny Hopkins, and for Luke, Gary the Blue.
If you're holding an umbrella, you don't have to clap, alright?
Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I genuinely hope you have enjoyed it. Now, if you have, can I ask a favour? Underneath here, you'll find a thumbs up. If you hit that, it helps put this video in front of more people just like you. And there's also a subscribe button. And I'm celebrating a bit of a victory this weekend because this morning I woke up and I was on over 10,000 subscribers. So if that's you, thank you so much for hitting that subscribe button. If you haven't already, give it a go because you'll get a new video from me pretty much every week. And next weekend, I'm back down at Bewley for Simply BMW. Hopefully I'll see a few of you there. If not, don't worry, video will be online, same day as always. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you soon.